Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Wednesday, July the 31st. Now in this video, I'm going to cover the 8-game night slate. I did make a video for the early slate. There is a 4-game early on DraftKings today. So if you are planning to play that, I would definitely appreciate it if you would check out my video on the early slate. It's already up on the channel. I pretty much just went over pitching, hitting, pretty much gave my thoughts on the early slate, where I'm going to be going. But we'll do the same for this video, for this 8-game night. We'll talk about pitching, start off there, work our way through the player pool. I'll be sure to hit on all the pitchers that I'm going to be targeting today. Then we'll look at DraftKings and Yahoo. We'll talk about some batters I like as well. Then we'll look at some stacks and BVP plays towards the end of the video. Before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button down below, so that way you don't miss out on any of my new videos. So at the top of the pitcher-player pool, we have Jacob deGrom as our most expensive option today. He's the most expensive pitcher on DraftKings and Yahoo. He is $11,800 on DK, and on Yahoo he's at $60. So deGrom is in a very favorable matchup here, pitching against the White Sox. Right-handed pitchers against the White Sox have just been sort of a print fest this year. Pretty much anytime you get a right-handed pitcher facing the White Sox, it's usually a guy you can target, especially a great pitcher like deGrom. Only problem, in my opinion, is that his price tag is $11,800, which is very expensive, and $60 on Yahoo, which is also very expensive. And we do have Jose Barrios in a great matchup against the Marlins for a lot less. So I think I'm going to be taking the savings today and going with Barrios. I like him a lot for $1,100 cheaper on DraftKings, and on Yahoo he's $12 cheaper than deGrom. Now, if I can find a way to get to deGrom, like if I find a cheap stack that I really like, or if I just play a lot of cheap hitters and I can get deGrom in there, I definitely am going to try and get to deGrom, but I feel like a lot of my builds, I'm going to have to go to Barrios because I'm going to need the savings. Barrios, I don't think, is in like a tough spot here at all. Could possibly be the highest scoring pitcher on the slate. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised if he outscores deGrom. Facing the Marlins here in Marlins Park, great matchup for Barrios. This Marlins team, we know, has a lot of righties in its lineup. Jose Barrios is very good versus right-handed hitters, struggles more with lefties, and the only lefty in the projected lineup is Neil Walker. So great spot for Barrios, great pitcher's park, low implied run total for the Marlins. Like deGrom, he's got a lot of things going in his favor as well today. And the fact that he's a lot cheaper than deGrom, he gives you some savings. I think I'm going to be rolling with Barrios as one of my higher owned pitchers today. But I will definitely have some exposure to Jacob deGrom. Definitely not a guy I'm going to just fade by any means. Lucas Giolito, though, on the other hand, I don't think I'm as interested in because he's so closely priced to Barrios, and I do prefer Barrios today. But if Giolito was a little bit cheaper, I would definitely have some interest in him. Like on Yahoo, you can get Giolito and Barrios together and still fit in some decent bats. So I'm probably going to have some lineups on Yahoo where I go with Barrios and Giolito together. Giolito is 46. Like I said, Barrios is 48. I do like Giolito here, but in a nutshell, I prefer Barrios. 1v1, I'm taking Barrios over Giolito. But at home against the Mets, I think that's a pretty favorable matchup for Giolito. This guy's a really good pitcher, a lot of talent. He's been struggling lately. Definitely has had some tough matchups, though, like against Minnesota, against the Cubs. Now he gets to face the Mets. I would say a pretty favorable matchup. So Giolito is definitely on my radar today. I would rather play him over Mike Minor. Between Minor and Giolito, I prefer Giolito there. But once you get past Giolito, there's not much that I like in this mid-range, like Minor, Hendricks, Samardzija. Don't feel like I'm going to really be going to those guys. Mikolas feels overpriced to face in a tough matchup against the Cubs. The guy that stands out to me, given the matchup, is Vince Velasquez, pitching at home against the Giants. I do like Velasquez as an SP2 today. On Yahoo, you can definitely go to Velasquez as your SP2. He's at $38. He does stand out over there as well. So this is a very favorable matchup for Vince Velasquez, pitching at home against the Giants. This is a Giants team that really is just not good offensively. You can get some strikeouts in this lineup as well. Velasquez is a pitcher that has some K upside. We kind of saw it in his last start against Detroit. He was very good in that start. I watched most of that game because I had a lot of exposure to Velasquez. And he went 5 2/3 innings, only allowed 4 hits, didn't allow a run, only 2 walks, got 9 strikeouts, had 31 DraftKings points. Velasquez has definitely struggled this year, but he looked better in his last start against Detroit. If he pitches well again here, which I think he will, given the matchup, he could definitely be a good SP2 play at $7,500. And if you just look for if you're just looking for cheap pitchers on this slate, there's not much to like. Like Plezak's in a tough spot against the Astros. Ryan Yarbrough facing the Red Sox is in a tough matchup. Urquidy against the Indians is in a tough spot. Rick Porcello at home against the Rays, I think you could consider as a cheap SP2 at 6,700. Maybe Jordan Lyles against Oakland at 6,100. Maybe Sandy Alcantara against the Twins. Tough matchup, but really good pitcher's park. National League side as well, so no DH for the Twins. I don't mind going to Alcantara if you're trying to fit in some expensive bats. 5,200 as a value pitcher you could look to. But I feel like a lot of my builds today are going to start with Barrios and Velasquez as my main two pitchers. But I did mention Porcello for cheap. I mentioned Alcantara for cheap. Maybe some Jordan Lyles. Those are guys you could definitely consider as like contrarian options, as options away from Velasquez. But now let's talk about some hitters. So there's a couple teams that stand out to me in terms of stacks, in terms of where I want to go for my bats. So I do really like the Phillies here against Jeff Samardzija. Getting Jeff Samardzija on the road, I think is something we obviously want to target. Anytime Samardzija is outside of Oracle Park, I definitely like to take batters against him, especially a really good Phillies lineup like this one that has very good hitters, kind of from top to bottom, but mainly the 1 through 5, the 1 through 6. That's what I really like from the Phillies. And if you just look at their pricing on DraftKings, they are very affordable. Harper at 4,300 really stands out on DraftKings. I like him a lot on Yahoo though as well. DK very affordable at 4,300. On Yahoo, he's a little bit more on the expensive side at $20, but I still like him here in this matchup with Samardzija. Samardzija's not that great of a pitcher. He does get like good numbers because he pitches in in Oracle Park, which is a very favorable ballpark for pitchers. But if you just look at his last few starts, when he's gotten some tough matchups, like he had to pitch in Coors, and I was very surprised to see Samardzija have as much success as he did. He went 6 2/3 innings, gave up 2 runs, did give up 2 home runs, 9 Ks, 30 DraftKings points in Coors. Then he had to pitch at home against the Mets, went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 runs, 7 Ks, got 13 DK points. In his last start on the road against the Padres, he went 6 innings, only allowed 4 hits, did give up a home run, got 6 Ks. He's just sort of an average pitcher. Definitely a guy I can stack against, especially when he's outside of, like I said, that pitcher's park. Now he's going to have to go to Philly. Citizens Bank ballpark is a pretty favorable ballpark for batters, so I like taking some Phillies bats here. Samardzija's been giving up home runs this year. We know how much power that Bryce Harper has versus right-handed pitching, so I like him a lot on DraftKings. Also really like Rhys Hoskins. He definitely stands out on DK at only 4,200. Two of the better power bats from this Phillies lineup I'm going to be looking to get some exposure to. But Scott Kingery leading off, I really like 4,100. Gene Segura at 3,900 as a cheap shortstop I really like. Real Muto's not that expensive at 3,900. Then once you get past Real Muto, you don't really have good hitters in Hernandez, Franco, and Hazley, but they are dirt cheap. Hernandez 3,400, Franco 33, Hazley 34. You can get a lot of value from the bottom of that lineup if you're stacking. So definitely like the Phillies here. Like Hoskins and Harper on DraftKings. On Yahoo, I like Harper a lot, and I like Scott Kingery a lot at $16. You could go to Hoskins. Obviously, Hoskins is $19, but that's kind of expensive. He's almost the same price as Bryce Harper. If we look at some of the other positions, Hernandez, if he bats like 5th or 6th at $13, I think is definitely a play. At third base, if you want to go cheap with Maikel Franco, he's at $13, so you could look there. Gene Segura as a shortstop play I think makes a lot of sense at $16, but I really like Kingery and Harper in the outfield on Yahoo at $20 and $16. On DraftKings, I like Hoskins and Harper a lot, but I'm going to be mixing in pretty much all the hitters since I'm going to be full stacking the Phillies today. And then another game I'm going to be targeting, another team I like for bats, is the Rangers. I do like Elvis Andrus a lot here against, it looks like it's going to be Wade LeBlanc pitching for the Mariners. It looks like Whistler's going to open, but then Wade LeBlanc's going to be the long man, so mostly going to be a left-handed pitcher going for Seattle. I definitely like to target Andrus on Yahoo, where he's only $13. That price tag really stands out as a value. On DraftKings, you can also consider him at $4,300, but since we only have 38.83 remaining per player, I do want to give you guys a value play on DraftKings. But I like the Rangers, another team I'm going to be stacking today. I do prefer to roster righties against Wade LeBlanc. The Rangers lineup is not really right-handed heavy. They do have a lot of lefties in there, but the righties you can target Santana, Andrus, Hunter Pence, Asdrubal Cabrera, Logan Forsythe. I would prefer if he was batting towards the top of the order, but batting 8th, you could consider him at 4K. Jeff Mathis is a terrible hitter, but he's also 2K, so if you need a cheap catcher as a part of your stack, you could look to him. But I feel like a lot of my Rangers hitters are going to come from the top with like Andrus, especially on Yahoo where he's only $13. He's going to be one of my higher owned shortstops. along with Gene Segura. Those are two guys I'm going to be playing a lot at this position. But then to fill out my 5 on DraftKings, as a value play, I really like Robel Garcia. He's projected lead off for the Cubs, and he's only 3,500 against Miles Mikolas. I think if you're looking for a cheap value play at second base, he definitely stands out. You can also consider him on Yahoo. He's at second base, and he's $13. If he's leading off, he's definitely a good value over there. But I feel like at second base, probably going to be playing like a lot of Odor here, a lot of Cesar Hernandez. Pretty much just whatever team I'm stacking, that's probably the team I'm going to look to for my second baseman. Don't think I'm going to be stacking the Cubs, but I do like Garcia leading off at 3,500. Mikolas is not usually a pitcher I stack against because rarely does he get blown up, but you can see him struggle a bit. Will give up some hits, will give up some hard contact, especially to lefties. Garcia leading off has a little bit of power. I think he does have some speed as well. Hasn't stolen any bases this year, but he's really not been playing much, or like he hasn't had like a big sample size, hasn't been with the Cubs for that long, but does have some power, has 4 home runs on the year already in the short amount of time that he's been with the Cubs. So as a value play, I like Robel Garcia a lot at 3,500. Just a cheap one-off you can consider. But that's my 5 plays for DraftKings and for Yahoo for this 8-game main slate. Now let's go ahead and talk about some stacks that I like. Then we'll look at some BVP plays before we end the video. So I would say my 2 favorite stacks today, since I like to pay up for pitching and I kind of need some cheap bats. The Phillies are a team I'm going to look to for cheap bats, and I'm also going to be considering some Rangers hitters as well. Mike Minor is a pitcher I do have some respect for, but these Mariners bats are very cheap, and they're in great hitting conditions in Texas. I think you can definitely target some of these Mariners bats. Domingo Santana at 4,100. Tim Beckham projected bat cleanup is 3,700. Austin Nola has power, and he's only 3,800. I will definitely be looking at some Mariners like mini stacks for value because they do give you some value in great hitting conditions in Globe Life Park in Texas, where it's going to be 97 degrees, 34% humidity. I feel like this game in general is just going to be a game I'll look to target for bats. But I like the Phillies, I like the Rangers, I like the Mariners side as well. Another team you could definitely consider is the Red Sox against Ryan Yarbrough. But if you want to pay up for like DeGrom or for Jose Barrios, it's going to be pretty tough to fit a Red Sox stack in there because they are very expensive. But maybe you get Sam Travis in the lineup, and I know he's probably dirt cheap on all the sites. You get like Brock Holt in the lineup, you can get some value there. But the guys you really want to play at the top of the lineup are very expensive, and I just don't think I'm going to be playing many lineups where I don't have at least one of these top few pitchers because there's just not a lot of mid-tier arms that I like, and I don't want to go with 2 mid-tier arms on the slate because I just don't feel like that's a winning combo. But anyways, guys, that's it for stacks. Now let's go ahead and look at some BVP real quick before we end the video. So the only BVP plays we have are from the Rays, and then we have 1 BVP play against Mikolas. So starting off with these Rays guys, a lot of them have hit Porcello well. G-Man Choi's gone 5 for 13 with a home run. Avisel Garcia's gone 11 for 27 with 2 home runs. Joey Wendell's gone 5 for 12, and Matt Duffy has gone 9 for 21. And then Javier Baez, he's had some success against Mikolas. He's gone 4 for 15 with 2 home runs. So that's it for the BVP on this main slate. I think that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. Make sure you drop a like on the video if you enjoyed, and make sure you subscribe if you have not already. And if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, or like always, you can hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT if you do have any questions. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you in the next one. Good luck tonight. Peace.